Welcome back to the All Ball Podcast, where it's all ball all the time. You are here with your hosts, Sean and Isaiah. This is episode number 31, and today we're going to be talking about whether we think the Nets and Lakers are going to fall out of play-in contention, and then we're going to talk about whether Westbrook will be traded or not. Supposedly, he's requested a trade during the summer, and then we're going to be talking about the Celtics as they are 2 games out of second place. But before all that, you know what it is, Isaiah. How you doing today, man?
Man, I'm so happy. Every time I open the NBA app and I see an L next to the Lakers, it brings joy to me. Because not only do I dislike players on that team, but I just dislike the Lakers franchise as a whole. Because I feel that they're just vastly overrated due to their location. So seeing them have this season, it just warms my heart.
We might be some of the biggest Laker haters out there. I think that'd be a fair statement to say. I
think Boston fans are probably the only people that hate them more.
probably, maybe even Clippers fans too. But
true.
Me and you are up there.
Yeah, definitely top 5.
Okay, so speaking of the Lakers, like I said, them and the Nets are about to fall out of playoff contention. I believe the Lakers at this moment of this recording, they are the 9th seed, and the Nets are the 8th seed. Both of them with about a game or two falling out. So let's start with the Lakers first. What are your thoughts about them, and do you think they will make it to the playoff this season?
Ooh, okay, making it to the playoffs is a tough question.
Well, okay, so let's do like play-in first, and then once if they even get into the play-in, are they even making it to the playoffs too?
Okay, so maybe if you asked me a few weeks ago, I would have said, "Oh yeah, the Lakers are definitely going to be in the play-in." That has changed. That has completely changed because a few weeks ago they were in that upper tier of the play-in where they were around Minnesota and the Clippers. But now they've fallen about, I want to say, 5 games behind the Clippers.
You're correct.
Yeah, okay. So they've fallen about 5 games behind the Clippers. And now they're down there with the Pelicans, the Trailblazers, who are surprisingly close. So it could really happen where they slip out of the play-in with a few more losses and Portland slides in there. But I think that LeBron is going to do everything in his power to not let that happen. I don't know how much that'll actually work, considering that he does everything in his power for them to not lose, and they can still get blown out by 20 and 30.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I don't know how much more he could do. Was it yesterday? I believe they got outscored in the third quarter, like 40-12 or something like that, when they were basically tied at halftime. They were playing the Clippers. And honestly, I don't think the Lakers really have any excuse to why they're doing so bad, because if you look at the Clippers, they haven't had Kawhi all season. Paul George has been out most of the year too. Well, at least a good portion of it. And as to where the Lakers, yes, LeBron has been out here and there a couple games. Same thing with Westbrook and AD. AD's actually been been out a good portion.
He's been out a lot of games.
But that's AD. We've talked about him and his injuries. He's gonna be out. That's AD. But still, with Westbrook, what people like, the idea of they have Westbrook to be this great point guard, everything, and then obviously you have what people consider to be one of the GOATs. I don't think you should be 9th seed, like 7 games below 500. That's absolutely ridiculous.
That's beyond ridiculous.
And like you said, I think LeBron's, I don't know how much more he can do than what he's already doing right now. But with Westbrook, I just don't see it happening because they have Westbrook. It's I know I slander him. It's not even slander. It's true. I talk so bad about him. Like I said, I'm just talking about his basketball skill set only, not his personal life or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just been so awful this year that I can't see them making the play-in anymore. I think the Blazers do it. I think Dame just I don't know pushes the Trailblazers over.
Wait, is Dame coming back this season? I thought they said he was gonna stay out with his surgery or recover
Uh,
from his surgery or whatever.
I thought they did say he was coming back.
I mean, I saw something saying he'd be reevaluated, but I don't know if they're actually.
Okay, well then maybe it was that. I thought he was coming back.
Okay, well, yeah. If Dame comes back, then I can absolutely see the Lakers just sliding out of the play-in, especially if the Pelicans can just remain decent enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Lakers are gonna continue to fall as long as they let Westbrook tank their ship.
Yeah. I mean, even if Dame doesn't come back, they have the new GOAT of Portland, Anthony Simons, who's been playing really great this season. But no, seriously, even without Dame, I still think the Trailblazers can probably take over the Lakers. It's just because, like I said, of how bad the Lakers are doing. They're really killing themselves at this point, and I think they've been doing that for the most of the season. But yeah, I can't see it. I can't see them making the play-in anymore. If they do, I mean, I don't even like I said, I don't see them even making the playoffs either. I don't think they win their game.
Yeah, oh, I definitely don't see them making the playoffs. The play-in, I could maybe see them making the play-in if they get lucky enough. But the playoffs, no way. That's just not happening.
And I know people will say like, "Oh, they have LeBron on their team. They could win a game." Well, they've had LeBron for most of the games, and
They
he's put
still
up
have trouble winning.
some crazy stats, and they still lose. So, LeBron or not, I don't think you win.
Yeah, and then especially considering that they're gonna need to win more than one game because they're in
Mm-hmm.
the bottom half of the play-in. So they're gonna have to win their one game and then win another game.
I think it was either Shaq or Chuck who yesterday after the pregame was like, if Bronny was on this team right now, would he be coming off the bench or starting? And they were like, he'd probably be starting because of the talent on the roster.
Who knows? He'd probably be a better point guard than Westbrook.
As long as he doesn't shoot it off the. Did you see he got crossed yesterday and then he tried to
Oh
trip?
yeah, by Reggie
Yeah,
Jackson.
and he tried to trip him.
He tried to trip him and then he got mad after.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. That's
You see,
very.
that was Reggie Jackson getting back for all those years in OKC where he's coming off the bench behind him. Well, it wasn't all those years, but that
Mhm.
time that he spent in OKC coming off the bench behind Westbrook when he knew he was good enough to start.
Yeah, man. Okay, so do you want to go ahead and move on to the Nets now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I do see the Nets, making it to the play-in. They'll probably win the play-in too and go into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of the playoffs now depends on Ben Simmons coming back, when he's coming back, and Kyrie. Because Katie's back,
Mm-hmm.
and we know what Katie could do. But what will Ben Simmons do when he comes back? And how often is Kyrie going to be available?
Yeah, I mean, but that's been the same question mark throughout this whole season in terms of the Kyrie situation.
Mhm.
Kyrie's availability is what can single-handedly take this team from they make it out of the play-in, maybe make it out of the first round, to now they're a legitimate title contender again.
Yeah. So if they do make it to the playoffs, do you see them having a real chance at the finals?
I think it just depends on what path they take to the finals because,
Hmm.
matchups are really everything. So maybe they get caught up with a bad matchup. Like, let's say Ben Simmons isn't ready for the playoffs. Like, his back problems just don't resolve by then.
Right.
I think Brooklyn comes across Miami, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, any one of those teams, and those teams are just going to outdo them because they're not going to have the defensive power and they're not going to have the offensive power. KD, we saw he was really good last year, but he is not good enough to single-handedly take this team to a finals run.
Right. And like you said, if they run into Philadelphia, there's no way they're going to stop Embiid. They don't have a
Exactly.
center to stop Embiid.
You, you think Andre Drummond is stopping Embiid?
Come on now. Even if they run into the Heat, there's no one to stop Bam either. Like these
even
teams.
forgetting about Bam, that team is just so defensive. They can neutralize KD alone. Well,
Hmm.
not neutralize, but they can make it tough on KD alone and then
Right.
neutralize everyone around him. At
Hmm.
which point, what is the team going to do against that? Miami could go 17% from the field and still win that game at that point.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If they do get in, it's going to be tough for them unless they're at full strength with Simmons, with Kyrie, with KD, all healthy. Maybe I could see them winning a series, but from going at the beginning of the season to be like title contender favorites to being eighth in the East right now,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of sad. Well, not for me because I'm a Rockets fan. Their picks are great for us, but uh, I guess for like I've kind of feel bad for KD
Oh
because
yeah.
he tries so hard, he does so well, then his teammate gets traded, his other teammate won't play. Now he has another teammate that's not even playing, but I'm sure Simmons is coming back at least by the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I just feel bad for him.
Yeah, because on top of everything that you said, just acknowledging the fact that he really came from one of the worst injuries you could get in basketball
Hmm.
and came back playing at his usual offensive level,
Hmm.
showed out amazingly well in the playoffs last season, and he continued it at the start of this season until he got injured again. So to see him really do everything in his power to overcome the obstacles that he faced personally, but have everyone around him have their own little unnecessary issues that are dragging down the team. It's I feel really bad for him because he's getting up there in age now. He's in his mid-30s.
Hmm.
He's not going to be able to do this much longer, especially with his durability level.
Yeah, he's what, like 33, 34 now? Because he's
He's
not.
33.
He's yeah. I was gonna say he's only like a year older than Harden. So
Mhm.
yeah, man, it's tough. But I wouldn't mind if they didn't make the playoffs because that's a lottery pick for us. But another
Yeah,
lottery
yeah.
pick.
This is solely about how we feel about KD in his own situation.
Hmm.
As far as how it affects us, first of all, outside of the picks, it doesn't affect us. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so do you want to transition back to I guess go back to the Lakers to talk about Westbrook wanting that trade now?
mhm.
So you said you saw a report that came out?
It was a rumor. It wasn't
Oh, okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
it was a rumor.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, if it
let's
was
go
a
ahead and
report, there definitely would have been much more coverage of it.
yeah, I didn't see that. Rumor or not, let's go ahead and talk about it.
Mhm.
If he gets traded, let's say some team actually does want to trade for him, what team do you think it would be?
The only way I see him getting traded is a DeMontis Sabonis type situation, where it's a team that's desperate to reach relevancy. So
Mm-hmm.
they're like, okay, Westbrook can at least make us somewhat possible to get a playoff spot or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the only way I see a team trading for him. He's pretty clearly proven this season that trading for him is not going to help you be a title contender. If you are a contending team already, he's not going to help you get over the edge into title favorites. If anything, he's probably going to drag you out of title contention. So the best thing for Westbrook and any team that would want him is to be a garbage team that wants to be in that play-in slash seventh, eighth seed, actually make the playoffs out in the first round type situation.
Mm-hmm. So the team that it like instantly came to mind, and even after looking at like all the teams and what team do I think he'd fit best on, it'd have to be the New York Knicks.
Yep, that's exactly who I was thinking when I looked.
You said a team that's desperate to make the playoffs. That seems like the Knicks. A team that you know, I don't want to say last year was a fluke that they made the playoffs, that they did so well, but it, okay. It's not a fluke, but it's starting to look like it.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. If you want, I will. Last year was a fluke. Julius Randle came out playing the best basketball of his career and has turned around this season and not necessarily regressed because he's not as bad as he used to be, but he's
Mhm.
definitely not playing out of his mind like he was last year.
Yeah, I didn't want to like come out straight and say fluke. So, that's why I was kind of like hesitant, but it is starting to kind of look
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. I am not hesitant at all. It was a fluke last year. And honestly, so was the Hawks situation. There is no reason that the
Oh,
Hawks should have reached the Eastern Conference Finals
oh, okay. I
last
thought you
year.
meant like they made the playoffs.
Oh, no. I'm talking about their playoff run specifically.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so Westbrook to the Knicks makes most sense. Big market team, and obviously a big city. I think that would he would he be enough to get them into the playoffs? Probably, but that's it because we've talked about what he is. He's a floor raiser, not
Mm-hmm.
a ceiling ceiling raiser.
Yeah.
So yeah, he keeps them above the 11th seed, but that's about it. He's not taking you past the first round.
Oh, yeah. History has shown that one very clearly. Excusing his 1 year here in Houston, the only playoff success that he's had is reaching the first round since KD left OKC.
The series that he didn't even play half of was here with us.
Exactly. It's like the fact that he didn't play against OKC is probably the only reason we made it out of the first round that year.
Hmm. Yeah. Honestly, because he has a player option after this year, right? This next coming season is player option.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be smart of him to just decline it. More than likely, he's probably not going to do that because
Mm-hmm.
why not get paid?
Exactly.
But if a ring is really what he wants, why not decline the player option and sign for about 25 million? It's still probably more than what he deserves after this last year of play. But
But
his
yeah,
name, his
I'm
name,
about
his
to say
history.
that
Yeah,
legacy is gonna give him a boost.
yeah. It's probably gonna afford him about 25 million a year. So that'd be the smart thing for him to do. At least cut half of his salary for the next year. Will he do it? More than likely not. No.
Yeah. I think the issue is that there's just no way. I cannot possibly see Westbrook winning a ring. If LeBron couldn't carry him to a ring, KD couldn't carry him to a ring, then who can? Because he's definitely not getting a ring as the best player on a team. That I would bet my entire life savings for the rest of my life on that. Westbrook as the best player on a team will never be an NBA championship team.
Mhm.
That is a promise. So at that point, he has to defer to someone better than him. And he's done that twice and still nothing to show for it.
At this point, I think like people don't even think of him as someone who's like winning a championship anymore for the rest of his career. I think more people see like the drama that he'll bring to a team. Like
Oh,
imagine if
yeah.
him and like is it Pat Beverly who have like beef? It's
Yes.
like we're on the same team.
It's just like how he was on a team with Rondo this season before they traded
Yeah.
Rondo.
He has quite a bit of beef with some players out there.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're as controversial and competitive as Westbrook is.
You know who might if he's on a team with them might carry him to a playoff or a championship. Celtics Daniel Tice.
Yes, the true GOAT.
Yeah. After that trade, they have been nothing but successful. So, do you want to go ahead and move on to the Celtics? Because
Yes.
we're going to okay.
Let's transition to the GOAT's team.
Okay, the man with the fadeaway jumper at all the time.
Every jumper is a fadeaway.
Yeah. Okay. So they're two games out of second place. We talked about how we don't think they're gonna be real contenders in the playoffs. And then a while back before we talked about the only way that they would actually be contenders is if they made some moves.
Mm-hmm.
They made very minor moves. They brought in Derek White. They brought in Daniel Goat Tice.
Fact.
Um, so what do you think it is? What do you think the change? Because it obviously wasn't the talent they brought in. Derek White's good, but he's
Mm-hmm.
not enough to really turn a make a 50-degree 180-degree turn for a team. Daniel Tice, I don't even know if he's playing for them.
He played 13 minutes their
Oh
last
man,
game.
you don't do that to the GOAT. You play him the full 48.
Exactly. He doesn't get tired. No breaks. Don't even get no timeouts for him. Halftime, what's halftime? We keep playing.
He's just doing suicide sprints on the court.
They're doing the halftime show, and he's just running around the court in the out of bounds.
Okay, so like I said, the talent I don't think was enough to do it. What do you think it was? Do you think I can never remember his name? Ime Udoka, right?
Uh, Ime Udoka.
I can never pronounce his name right, but that I was close. So yeah, him. Do you think it was a coaching change, that a coaching style change that turned it around, or what do you think it was?
Really, I'm not exactly sure.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe something just clicked with the team and they played better defense now or something. I haven't really caught a Celtics game since this turnaround, so I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't tell you from watching, but it seems like Al Horford had a good game their last game out.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Tatum, since Jaylen Brown has gone down a couple games ago, he seems to have been pretty good. So I mean, I don't know. Something happened. Maybe there's something in their Gatorade they're not telling us about.
Mike's secret stuff. No, I really don't know what it is too. I caught a Celtics game. I can't remember exactly who they played. It was about a week ago. Um, but I couldn't tell you what I saw different. And maybe that's because the Celtics were one of the teams that I really wasn't watching a lot this year.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched quite a bit of Hornets games. I've watched quite a bit, obviously the Rockets,
Yeah.
quite a bit of Grizzlies games,
Mm-hmm.
but the Celtics were not one of them. And like I said, I don't know if that's the reason why I couldn't see change, but they just looked like their chemistry was on point.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, I don't know how that just changes overnight or basically over a week because of the All Star week.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so now with the success they're having, do you see them actually being contenders, or are we still on the the no side?
I don't think they're contenders now, but I definitely think that they're much more of a playoff threat than they were before. Whereas when we
Mhm,
talked about them last time, we said that we don't even believe they're winning a playoff series if they get into the playoffs.
mhm,
I think I could actually see them maybe stealing a series. Maybe if they really get on fire, they can take two series and make the
mhm,
Eastern Conference Finals like they used to. So I think that is definitely much more on the table for them than it was before.
mhm.
But contention is a tough one.
I'm actually gonna say, out of all the teams that I have contending, I'm gonna go ahead and throw them in there, but they are like the last team that I would throw in there to contend.
Mm-hmm.
They are like 2% of me is like believing in them that they could actually do something. Just because I know if Tatum and Brown catch fire, it's going to be hard to stop them. And with the like I said with the recent success, it's hard to see them not taking that into the playoffs. But also these other teams that have been up here, I just can't like count them out now because the Celtics are doing well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
because even with the crazy turnaround the Celtics have had,
mhm,
you can't discredit Miami, Philadelphia, Chicago, Milwaukee. You can't just throw those guys out of there because Boston has been on a good streak.
right, and it's like so. Let's say Tatum and Brown get hot, and they're playing the Bulls, and
Mm-hmm.
DeRozan's like going crazy. I'm still taking the Bulls with DeRozan going crazy over the hot Tatum and Brown because they still have uh, Levine,
Mm-hmm.
Vooch, uh, Lonzo. Lonzo's back, right? Or do you
No,
know?
no.
No? Okay. Well, is he coming back this season? I haven't heard
Yeah,
anything
he
about.
should be coming back this season, but he's just not back yet. Him and Caruso
Okay.
definitely gonna be back this season.
Okay. And then those are the two like major defensive guys that they have.
Yep.
So that's just going to make them even better. So they are 2 games out of second place, and they're in fifth place right now. They have to jump the Bucks, the Bulls, and the Sixers. Do you see them jumping those teams?
I don't. I really
No.
don't. I
Mm-hmm.
If I were to go team by team here, it looks like Chicago's been on a slide recently.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Chicago falls and they can jump Chicago. Well, it wouldn't even really be them jumping Chicago. It would be Chicago falling down.
Right.
But I really don't see them jumping Milwaukee, and I 100% do not see them jumping Philadelphia unless Harden and Embiid both just sit out some games and they lose because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't see them jumping either. I think the fifth seed is probably where they're gonna stay at the rest of the season.
Yeah.
They're in between the Cavs and the Bucks, and I think that's a good spot for them because I think that talent wise for star players, they're probably better than the Cavs.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh yeah.
all around talent, I think the like depth wise, I think the Cavs have them, but they're not good enough to be over Giannis.
Yeah.
Giannis himself alone is not going to allow the Bucks, to probably drop below the fourth seed, and so I think the fifth seed is a good spot for the Celtics.
Yeah. And I think it's especially a good spot or not especially a good spot, but I think you made an especially good point about Giannis not letting the Bucks fall below the fourth seed
Hmm.
because say the standings stay exactly how they are now to end the season.
Okay.
There's no way that Giannis is going to let the Celtics beat. No, that's not happening.
No, we've seen this matchup quite a few bit times now in the playoffs.
Exactly. Giannis will do what he needs to do. He'll get it done. We're not even talking about normal Giannis anymore. This is reigning Finals MVP. He has that championship experience, Giannis. He knows what
Hmm.
he needs to do, and he will get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Bucks. That's even like, even if Middleton and Holiday do their good old inconsistency act, Giannis
Yes,
it's
I'm
still
gonna
Giannis.
shoot 70% one day and then 20% the next.
I mean, at least they're not Westbrook, who'll shoot like 20% one day, and then like a good day is like
13.
30%.
You see, but
But
that's the thing. That's the thing. At least you know what you're getting out of Westbrook. You expect garbage from him. And then when he plays well, it's like, wow, this is a surprise. It's kind of like Westbrook is a bench player. It's like you don't expect much out of most of your bench guys, but when one of your bench guys comes out and he has an amazing game, you clap it up for him. You're happy for him. I didn't think you could do that, but you did it. Good for you.
I actually had that same like thought yesterday because I checked the stat lines at
Mhm,
halftime, and I checked on the Lakers Clippers, and Russ was like 5 out of 7 or something like that. At 14 points, decent rebound, decent assist. He was doing well. He was having a decent game.
mhm.
After I saw the alert that the Clippers had a 40-12 third quarter,
Yeah.
I checked the box scores again for the Clippers and Lakers. Russ was now like 5 for 14. I was like, oh, he was having a good game. A quarter later, I was like, oh, okay, there's Russ. The real Russ came out.
See, yeah, that's the Westbrook we all know.
Yeah, he in one quarter he went from like 70% to about 30.
That is
It was pretty
terrible.
bad.
Wow, when you really think about it, because you said he was 5 for 7.
It,
Let's
it,
say
it was
that.
about there.
Yeah, let's say that that's exactly what it was. And then
Hmm.
you said 5 for 14. So that
Hmm.
means first half he took 7 shots, he hits 5 of them. Third quarter alone, he takes the same amount of shots, doesn't hit a single one. That
Yeah.
is that's Westbrook in a nutshell right there.
Hmm.
That sums it up perfectly.
Oh man. Okay. Was there anything you wanted to talk about, Celtics wise, or anything else regarding, I guess, anything?
I did have something that I wanted to say,
Hmm.
and it's more of just a little funny thing because I want to say it was last week or earlier this. I think it was last week. I was looking at Jalen Green. I was like, man, he's turning it around. Maybe
Hmm.
Jalen Green, maybe he got it together now. And then it was, yeah, I think it was before we recorded our last episode. He had a bad game, and then he's just been on a bad streak, and it's like, okay, I tried to believe in you. I wanted to believe in you,
Yeah.
and you sold me. Now he did have a good game against the Clippers this week,
Hmm.
but even still, it wasn't a good game. It was good in the sense that he led the team, but it was his same issue of shot chucking.
Yeah.
So that's all I had to say on that. Is that I tried to believe in Jalen Green. Trust me, I'm telling you, I'm telling everybody. I tried to believe in him, but he just lets me down every time.
I mean, he had a pretty great game against the Jazz.
True, true.
That Christian Wood 3-pointer to tie it up at the end though was pretty great. Um, but yeah, Yeah, I don't know, man. I think Green's okay. I think he's doing a lot better. I see more progress in him, and I'm okay with that.
All
But
right.
yeah, well, it's gonna wrap this up. If you like the podcast, go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment down below. I kind of forgot what the outro is. I don't remember what I usually say. I kind of zoned out after thinking about Green. Okay, Isaiah's last comments.
Okay.
I don't know, man. It went blank to me. It feels like I haven't done this in like a month.
Oh man, you know what? I can definitely understand that because it does feel like it's been a long time from last Friday to today.
Yeah.
Oh man, but with that being said, just don't forget to share the podcast with as many people as you can. It helps us. And don't forget to check out the podcast Instagram and Twitter.
All right, we will catch you on the next one.